President Marcos recently asked Congress to prioritize the Anti-Dynasty Bill, the Independent People's Commission Act Bill, and the Party List System Reform Act Bill. He also calls for immediate action on the Citizens' Access and Disclosure of Expenditures for National Accountability or Cadena Act Bill. But some say this is not enough. Good morning, I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno, and this is At the Forefront. Various issues continue to hound the government. The Independent Commission for Infrastructure is under fire for supposedly not having enough powers to be effective in probing the flood control scandal. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s order to prioritize the Anti-Dynasty Bill and 3 other measures are also getting mixed reactions. What should the administration do to appease critics? To try to answer this question and more, we'll be speaking with Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sandanya. Good morning, Congressman Percy.
Good morning, Attorney Karen, and thank you for having me again.
This week, President Bongbong Marcos included the Anti-Political Dynasty Bill among his priority bills in Congress. But had the President certified the Anti-Political Dynasty Bill as urgent, it would have been entitled to waive certain requirements pursuant to Article 6, Section 26 of the Constitution. Are you satisfied with the recent declaration of the bill as priority?
Well, the declaration priority is just a mere propaganda declaration. It has no bearing in terms of legislation. Sabi nga natin, ang politikong gipit sa pangakong reforma kumakapit. So if the President is really sincere about this pronouncement, they should have certified these measures as urgent. Kasi otherwise, ano lang ito? It's just words.
So yung sana, no, pagka sinertify niya as urgent under Article 6 of the Constitution, meron yung mga pwedeng i-waive, yung pwedeng sabay na ng second and third readings on the same day.
Yes, at mas bibilis yung process of the legislature by passing some of the regulations na may nilalagay tayo in terms of the span of time for legislation.
Well, given the President's statement na i-prioritize pa rin daw yung Anti-Political Dynasty Bill as soon as possible, with that pronouncement, can we expect the passage of the bill soon, like before his administration ends?
Well, we still see that this will be an uphill battle. As long as hindi pa niya sinecertify as urgent, as long as hindi pa gumugulong yung ating legislative mill, uphill battle pa rin ito. Sa dulo kasi it's not enough to just say that we should pass an anti-political dynasty legislation. And take note, it's 38 years late. 38 years after the ratification of the 1987 Constitution. Ang binabantayan talaga natin yan ay baka ang ending compliance lang yung lumabas sa anti-political dynasty law. Kinakailangan, the political anti-dynasty law should be comprehensive at dapat ito ay kino-cover niya lahat ng levels at dapat stringent talaga. Hindi yung compliance lang doon sa demands ng times.
When you say compliant lang, ano yung nakikita mong bare minimum na pwedeng ipasa sa Congress right now?
The version that we have is the comprehensive version. Sinasabi natin dapat bawal talaga ang pagtakbo ng sabay ng mga magkakamag-anak after the 4th degree of consanguinity and affinity. Bawal din yung succession, the same level, 4th degree ng affinity and consanguinity at any level. So we're addressing both the fat dynasty and the thin dynasty. Tingin namin sa Akbayan, yan ang bare minimum.
Well, since you mentioned yung sa inyo, sa version ninyo, up to 4th degree of consanguinity. So ibig sabihin, covered yung mga magpipinsan. Pagka yung ibang sinasabi na pwede na rin daw na anti-political dynasty bill is yung up to the 2nd degree of consanguinity. And si COMELEC Chairman George Garcia previously stated that the law should only cover up to 2nd degree of consanguinity para daw merong ding opportunity to run for public office yung iba. So this would only mean magkakapatid or parents or yung apo. Para sa inyo, bakit importante na up to the 4th degree of consanguinity or up to yung mga pinsan covered pa rin?
Up to the first cousin, dapat covered pa rin. Kasi alam naman natin ang structure ng Filipino families, no? In fact, marami tayong mga pinsan na halos kapatid na natin. At pa nag-uusap, ang mga pamilya ang nag-uusap, isang buong clan. So, ngayon nakikita natin, mga probinsya, talagang isang buong clan ang nagro-rule. Mula sa lolo, lola, hanggang sa mga pamangkin at mga pinsan. So, dito nawawala talaga yung opportunities for other emerging leaders na pwede sana magdala ng good governance sa kanilang locality or even at the national level na makatakbo at magkaroon ng fighting chance. Isa pa, nawawala din talaga yung checks and balance that's built into our system. Paano iti-check ng council, for example, sa isang probinsya o munisipyo, ang mayor, kung sila ay magpinsan, kung ang mayor ay pamangkin naman ang vice mayor. So talaga napakahalaga hanggang 4th degree of consanguinity.
Para iwasan na yung parang family business. But Kong Percy, if a law is passed ng anti-political dynasty, and lalo na if it's comprehensive like your version, if it's passed before 2028, that would mean maraming hindi makakatakbo. For example, Sandro Marcos, he can't run for re-election while Senator Amy is still in Senate. Or only one of the Dutertes can seek re-election in Davao, whereas now, di ba, from mayor, vice mayor, pati councilor, merong Duterte. And then Raffy Tulfo or Mark Villar won't be able to run for re-election in Senate kasi may mga kapatid sila doon ngayon. So do you think papayag talaga sila na mangyari yung ganong sitwasyon?
Well, nasa point tayo in history na talagang hinug na itong pangangailangan natin na mag-legislate ng isang anti-political dynasty legislation. Kasi nakita natin, itong mga systemic problems that we have, paulit-ulit. And you can correlate that with the fact na dahil paulit-ulit lang din yung mga pamilya na uupo sa kapangyarihan. If we want a break from this cycle of corruption and patronage politics, there has to be a break with these political clans.
And the other attempts were made in the past. In 1993, we had Representative Roger Mercado of Southern Leyte, who also filed an anti-political dynasty bill, but it only reached committee level, tapos nawala na. And then may attempt again in 1995, pero hanggang committee level lang din. And in 2014, umabot siya sa plenary deliberations, pero wala na rin nangyari after that. So this time, do you think there's something that would make things different, that the outcome would be different this time?
This time, the outcome will be different because there's another element in the equation. And the other factor is the massive anger of the people because of the massive corruption scandal. So wala talagang choice ang mga duty bearers in both Senate and the House. But this time, vote for the interests of the people instead of the interests of the families that they represent. Pero tandaan natin, nagawa na natin ito dati, nakapagpasok tayo ng anti-political dynasty provision doon sa ginawa nating SK Reform Law. That's so far the only enabling law of the 1987 Constitution. So this time around, we have to have faith in the people. Sisingilin tayo ng taong bayan kapag hindi natin ito ginawa.
And the Speaker and Majority Floor Leader of the House of Representatives right now are from a political dynasty, si Speaker Bogie D and si Majority Floor Leader Sandro Marcos. Ikaw po, you're currently in Congress. On a personal level, sa mga interaction mo, how receptive are your colleagues in Congress with this anti-political dynasty law?
I have yet to have an intimate and candid conversation with our colleagues who are from the political dynasties, but I'm sure they are feeling the pressure from the people. Sa panahon na ito, alam natin na ang mga tao ginagamit ng kapangyarihan nila kapag eleksyon. Nakita natin ang 2025 elections, ito yung naging isang assessment at isang evaluation point ng ating gobyerno under BBM. At nakita ko paano na-repudiate ng mga tao yung incumbent administration. So, asahan natin na pati ng 2028, yung mga hindi susuporta, yung mga harang dito sa anti-political dynasty legislation, sisingilin talaga ng bonggang-bongga ng taong bayan.
So you're more confident and optimistic this time?
Yes, the people gives us confidence and optimism. Pero inuulit ko, this will not be a walk in the park. This is an uphill battle.
And some government officials who are part of a political dynasty also argue that they earned the position because of their work or because the people really approve of them. What do you say to that?
Well, wala nang debate tungkol sa legality dapat ng political dynasties kasi malinaw ang sinasabi na 1987 Constitution. Yung binabanggit nila na yan, justification na lang at palusot na lang yan. At balikan natin yung sitwasyon ng ating bansa. Sa mahabang panahon, andyan ang underdevelopment, andyan ang corruption, andyan ang patronage politics. Ano yung constant na element through time? Yung mga political dynasty.
And well, Kong Percy, I agree with your statement na wala nang debate kasi nasa constitution talaga natin yan for so many years na. What should the president do so that this is not mere lip service, to call it as one of his priorities to finally pass the anti-political dynasty bill? But before you answer this question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront, and we continue our conversation with Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sandanya. Kong Percy, given all of the factors na majority of Congress, whether it's Senate or House of Representatives, are from political dynasties, what should the President do to ensure that his call to prioritize the bill for anti-political dynasty is not mere lip service?
Well, hanggat hindi niya sinecertify as urgent itong measure na ito, people will always doubt the sincerity of his pronouncement. Sa dulo nga, whether this is driven by sincerity or desperation, dapat sukatin talaga if he will put his action into, his words into actual action. So he should put his money where his mouth is. Certify as urgent, that's a very clear directive to the House of Representatives and the Senate pagdating sa priority na administration. Isama niya sa LEDAC priority measures at gawin niyang certify as urgent kasi that's the only way that we will really get a clear signal from Malacanang na talagang siseryosohin nila ito. Lalong-lalo na dahil totoo na napakahirap ipasa nito ngayon sa Kongreso at Senado kasi in effect, many of the members of these two houses will vote against self-interest.
Do you have an estimate ilang percentage sa Congress, sa House of Representatives ang galing sa political dynasties?
For the 20th Congress, I have yet to compute, pero I can confidently say it's a clear majority.
Okay. In your Facebook post, you said the ICI would be hard-pressed to find a replacement with the level of decades-long expertise and unblemished na public service record similar to that of former Secretary of Public Works Babe Singson. Who do you think should replace him?
Well, sa ngayon nga, more than thinking of the person who will represent Secretary Babe Singson, mas mahalaga yung pagpasa sa lalong madaling panahon ng Independent Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption. Kasi mismo si Secretary Babes na nagsabi na mahina talaga yung ICI as an institution in fulfilling yung supposed mandate na meron siya. And we can only cure that not by replacing Secretary Babe Singson by an equally capable person. We can only cure that by curing yung mandate through legislation. Kaya isa din sa frustration natin ay hanggang ngayon, hindi pa sinecertify as urgent ni President Bongbong Marcos yung Independent Commission on Infrastructure Corruption. May panahon sana na ipasa ito kung isi-certify as urgent until the end of session on the 32nd. Pero hanggat hindi niya ito ginagawa, matitenga ito at maghihintay na naman na ilang buwan hanggang mag-resume uli ang Kongreso pagdating ng January.
Okay, so I take it that pareho rin yung position mo with respect to this bill, yung Independent Commissions Act bill, na hindi sufficient, that the President had already declared it as one of his priority measures as well.
Yes, especially because this is extremely urgent. Kaya talagang ina-assail namin yung statement ng Malacanang na sinasabi nila na wala namang emergency at walang urgency. Hindi pa ba emergency at urgency enough yung billions of pesos siphoned off from public coffers papunta dito sa mga corrupt practices na nangyari?
But Kong Percy, this is the argument naman of other people na overlapping to with the ombudsman, with the functions of the ombudsman. Do you share that view or do you have concerns na i-question yung legality ng independent commission kung gawin tong batas considering meron na tayong ombudsman?
So, totoo lang, pag binasa nila yung batas, makikita nila na walang overlapping. In fact, ina-outline nito clearly kung ano dapat yung ginagawa ng Independent Commission, hanggang saan yung kanyang powers, at paano siya mag-harness ng cooperation at convergence between the Ombudsman and other investigative bodies like the DOJ. So when they say that this is duplication, then we raise that same question to the President. Kung duplication yan, bakit mo ginawa yung ICI in the first place? So malinaw that this is responding to a specific urgent need ngayon. Kaya nga, merong sunset provision, yung Independent Commission on Infrastructure Corruption, na pinail natin sa House of Representatives.
Okay. What other considerations would be acceptable? For example, can there be a bill that just strengthens the ombudsman and adds more, I guess, like functions for the ombudsman to strengthen their investigations?
That has yet to be filed. Wala pa tayong nakita na ganyang proposal. Ang meron tayo ngayon, yung ICAIC, at nakita natin na ito yung kailangan sa panahong ito. Nakita natin before na yung current systems na meron tayo ay not enough to address these problems. Kaya nga nakarating tayo sa sitwasyon na bilyon-bilyon talaga ang nanakaw sa akaban ng bayan. At sa mahabang panahon, hindi na panagot yung mga nagnakaw. So we need the ICAIC precisely to address that need.
Okay. And mapunta naman tayo sa usapan ng party list. What type of reforms can we expect under the Party List System Reform Act bill? This was also included in the priority bills of the President. Several party lists were found to be linked to contractors. And ganun yung situation ngayon sa House of Representatives. How can this bill ensure na mawawala na yung mga tinatawag natin na contractors?
Alam mo, Atty. Karen, naging backdoor talaga ang party list system. Hindi lamang para sa mga political dynasty, naging backdoor din para sa ganitong mga business interest. Kasi nakita nila na kung di sila kaya mag-contest sa distrito, pwede sila mag-create ng machinery, given the resources that they have, to secure a seat in the party list. So dapat talaga i-reforma na ito dahil nakita natin kung paano na-bastardize ang party list system in the past 2-3 decades.
So you've seen the version po ba of this reform bill. Can this also prevent political dynasties from using the party list system as a loophole dun sa anti-political dynasty bill? Kasi sa ngayon, yan yung isa pang nagamit din for political dynasties. Meron ka ng nasa Congress, tapos yung may kapatid, anak, or asawa nasa party list naman. So talagang lalo pang lumaganap yung political dynasties.
Doon sa version ipa-file ng Akbayan along with our allies in the party list groups in the House of Representatives, very clear yung provision natin against political dynasties entering the party list system. Kasi totoo yung binanggit mo, Atty. Karen, meron pang instances magkamag-anak district at saka party list. Dati kasi ang nangyayari, pag hindi nanalo sa district, tatakbo sa party list. Pero ngayon, sabay na tinatakbuhan ng parehong angkan yung dalawang posisyon na yon.
Okay, so that would be under your consideration as well. You'll address those concerns.
Yes, that's a very important feature of the reform that we will be proposing.
Okay, and finally, the Bicameral Conference Committee on the 2026 National Budget is set to proceed from December 12 to 14. Both houses of Congress stay firm that this must be live-streamed. Do you think this is enough? This is enough as a level of transparency to prevent questionable insertions, or should additional oversight mechanisms be in place?
Definitely, there has to be additional oversight mechanisms in place, and there is a need to institutionalize this practice. Prior to the passage of the resolution, after the concurrent resolution for the open BICAM last night sa House of Representatives, nag-file tayo ng open BICAM. Doon sa ating open BICAM resolution, hindi lamang yung budget process ang sinasabi natin na dapat ay bukas sa publiko at dapat transparent. Dapat the whole BICAM process, kahit sa ordinary legislation. Kasi nakita natin that the BICAM has become the third chamber in effect. Para meron kang House of Reps, may Senado ka, and then there's the BICAM. And in the case of the budget, ang nagiging pinakamakapangyarihan pa, yung BICAM. At doon sa mga legislation naman, nakita natin na madalas sa BICAM na water down o kaya naman sa BICAM na pipihit yung mga panukalang batas. So what we are pushing for is first institutionalize this. Dapat talaga open ang BICAM sa iba't ibang levels. Yan man ay budget or laws. Tapos pangalawa, dapat hindi lang ngayon. Dapat ito na yung process, ito na yung practice. So it's not enough na sinasabi lang na i-open ngayon. It has to be institutionalized.
Okay, last question po. May mga nagsasuggest dati na dapat naka-label kung sino naglalagay ng mga certain insertions para alam din ng mga tao sino ba yung responsible for the insertions. Meron bang efforts to do that?
Yes, sa ngayon, ang ating tinutulak ay dapat talaga malinaw yung minutes of the meeting. Doon sa current resolution nakalagay that minutes will be made available to the public and that they will prepare the minutes. So we will hold them to task doon. Tama ka, Attorney Karen, dapat malinaw sino ang nag-amend, sino ang nag-insert, sino ang naggalaw doon sa mga amounts at saka allocations. And at the same time, malalaman ng taong bayan sino ang sisingilin.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Akbayan Party List Representative Percy Sandanya.
Maraming salamat.
The President's call to prioritize several measures, including the anti-political dynasty bill, has been viewed by some as mere lip service. But we'll see in the coming months if Malacanang's effort to end political dynasties in the Philippines is sincere and if Congress will support this. Join us again tomorrow for conversations on issues that matter. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. Always stay at the forefront.